I've always treated charisma as something like height or eye color.
Yeah.
Either you win the genetic lottery or you don't.
Hmm.
But looking at this visual guide you pulled, the anatomy of a charismatic person,
Hmm.
it's suggesting something radically different. It's almost like a mechanical blueprint for personality.
That's the headline here, really. The source material is arguing that charisma isn't magic, it's a system. And specifically, it's a structural balance of these internal forces.
Yeah,
If you look at the diagram, it's not emphasizing a winning smile or, witty banter. It's all about what's happening under the hood.
right. It depicts this human silhouette just split right down the center.
Yeah.
On the left, it has the paradox, and on the right, you have the engine.
Let's start with the paradox then.
Okay, yeah. So on the left side, it lists ambition
Mm.
and humility.
Which, usually feel like oil and water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The guide says to embrace bold ambition, dream huge, want to change the world. And that makes sense. I mean, low energy isn't exactly magnetic. But then, in the same breath, it demands deep humility. It says you have to view your own contribution as small and attribute your successes to luck or to other people.
It sounds totally contradictory, doesn't it? But here's a key insight the source is really driving at.
What's that?
Charisma lives in the friction between those two things.
So if I only have the ambition,
Then you're just arrogant. You're a steamroller. Nobody wants to be around that.
and what if I only have the humility?
You're invisible. You're the nicest person in the room that nobody even notices.
Ah,
The guide explicitly states that magnetism emerges from the constant effort to harmonize these two opposing forces. It's like stretching a rubber band. The energy comes from the tension itself.
so you have to want to conquer the world while at the same time feeling like you're just a small part of that change.
Exactly, a small vessel for it.
Wow, that's a heavy mental load to carry. You're constantly checking your ego while fueling your drive.
And I think that leads us naturally to the other half of the diagram.
The engine.
Yeah, if the paradox is the internal setup, the engine on the right seems to be about how you actually move forward.
Okay, so this section is labeled conviction and purpose.
But we should be careful with how we interpret conviction.
I caught that, yeah. It's not just about being loud or stubborn.
Not at all. The guide links conviction directly to having a purpose beyond yourself. It defines this as, as aiming to bring happiness to others or to guide society correctly. It's very utilitarian.
And that's not just a moral point, it's a strategic one.
That's the engine. It's what provides the resilience. The source notes that when you have those big, bold ambitions from the other side, you will face criticism. It's inevitable.
And if your conviction is purely about you winning, that criticism, it just destroys you.
Because it's a direct attack on your ego. But if your purpose is, for the greater good, then the criticism is just data. You can withstand it.
Withstand criticism with resilience. That's the explicit step in the diagram, isn't it?
It is. You hold your ground on the ultimate goal, but because of that humility we talked about, you stay open to feedback on the method.
It's a fascinating loop.
Yeah.
The guide then shows this final payoff phase. Turn critics into supporters.
Which is the long game. It suggests that people are eventually won over not by your arguments, but by seeing the consistency of your selfless purpose.
So they might doubt your competence at first.
But once they realize you aren't doing it for yourself, that skepticism can actually turn into support. That is the engine that drives charisma forward.
So to boil this all down, this visual is arguing that charisma isn't a trait at all. It's a discipline.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's the active work of holding this high ambition against deep humility, and it's all fueled by a purpose that isn't about you.
Right.
It's actually a lot of work.
It totally transforms charisma from just, a personality quirk into more of a moral framework. And honestly, it leaves me with a pretty burning question based on that purpose beyond yourself rule. Well, if this model is right, that true lasting charisma requires a selfless, noble purpose to convert critics and to sustain momentum, does that mean it is actually impossible for a selfish person to be truly charismatic in the long run?
Or do they just eventually burn out?
Exactly. Do they burn out, or was it never really there to begin with?
That is a dangerous thought to leave us with. Something to test against the people we see in the news every day. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.